Welcome to Band Scamps, an in-depth look at albums and releases by West Michigan artists. Hosted by Dan Fisher and Julio Gomez. This week on Band Scamps, Dan and Julio review Self-Titled by EASERS and Reanimate by Earth Radio.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to yet again another episode of Band Scamps. This is episode 9, April 2nd, 2021. My name's Dan Fisher. I'm with Julio Gomez.
Hey, everybody. How are you? How's it going, Dan?
I'm good, man. I feel rested. I feel it's sunny out. Got a little allergies, but that's all good. I'm on
You
my
said
new
episode
computer.
9. Yeah, new
Episode
computer.
9.
New computer, episode 9.
Yeah.
I when you said 9, I almost didn't believe you.
I know, right? I had to double check today because I was like, "What episode is this?" I gotta get the intro right.
I would have said 6, but that's the one that we just debuted. We're narrowing in. We're about 2 weeks ahead of schedule from taping to release now at this point, and that's perfect, I think.
Yeah, and it's been really fun. Just now that we're into episode 6, I feel like after that episode we kind of really hit our stride, and it's nice to hear the more fluidity of the show.
Definitely, and it's good to get it closer to the taping date now because there's so many things that I wish we could have done in these early episodes that we're kind of now fixing as we go on. Episode 9, we're almost in double digits here.
I know, right?
That's incredible.
I just want to give a shout out to all the scamps out there who have been sending us messages either through text or through email or Facebook, Instagram. Thank you so much for the support. It really means a lot to us. We put in a lot of hard work. It's definitely appreciated.
It's been really cool opening the email and saying, "Oh, I like it. I like the show. I want you to review this record," and just keep them coming. We got so many more coming. I think we're going to be able to do weekly for a while now.
Absolutely, and for people who have submitted, know that a lot of people that have been messaging me have said either I've checked out a lot of different bands just because of the podcast, or I'll do it before or after. So thank you for
and album art.
Yeah, for sure.
Album artists too.
Yeah. One of our first fan scamps. Shane has been on the live streams a lot, so shout out to Shane.
Yeah, I'm gonna promote him to community manager or mod or something. We can do that. We just unlocked Level Up on our live stream. So
that's right. We're one up.
We're one up. We have all sorts of new stuff coming for you on the live streams, and those are happening on Fridays and Saturdays. We're gonna have a set schedule eventually.
Yeah, we're looking into cryptocurrency,
making our own. Stuff. Yeah, we're gonna buy a tunnel.
That's right. Yeah, we're looking into NFTs.
You're like, oh yeah.
There's so much stuff. I just want to say words like synergy and stuff.
We're getting there. We're getting there. But thank you so much, listeners. What we're trying to say. Yeah. Thank you to the fan scamps, and we have another 2 local West Michigan music records from 2020 or 2021. I'm actually not sure. I think
these are both
2020. Okay, cool, perfect. We got more review.
Yeah, more review.
More to review, more to do.
I just updated our spreadsheet and just of all the submissions, and we have quite a few. So we have
excellent.
We have a lot of content coming for y'all. So,
but please keep them coming.
Yes,
keep them coming. So far, it's all been artist submitted reviews, and we're gonna try to keep it that way as long as we can.
Yep. Just a few housekeeping things, real quick. Again,
let's do it.
Bandscamps@gmail.com. That's where you submit music, submit comments, submit inquiries for sponsorships. That's where we're at. We're also on Facebook, Instagram @bandscamps_. We have Discord. Merch is not out, is still in the works, still in the brainstorming process, but we are definitely going to be doing some merch in the future.
We need a merch person.
Yeah, we need
a merch manager. Yeah. Do you want to be the merch manager for fan scamps? Do you want to be the fan scamp? The merch camp?
Merch camp.
Merch Mr. or Mrs.
Yeah.
Merch them. Merch they.
That's right.
We'll find it.
Also,
Merch Lord is a good, there's a good gender neutral one.
Yes.
Merch Lord. We need a Merch Lord. Send us an email, bandscamps@gmail.com.
Just to remind everyone, Band Scamps lives under the Grand Rhapsody, I guess, not label, but outlet. So if you have podcasts, music, whatever, hit us up.
Basically, we're just trying to find a way to consolidate what we're doing creatively into one easy to search term. And it's Grand Rhapsody. We've been doing the podcast for a while.
That's right.
Band Scamps is a Grand Rhapsody production. You hear it at the end of the show. So that's great to clarify for people what that is. And we are putting out some music.
That's right.
More to come with that soon.
Yeah, I'm very excited for people to hear it. It's so
excellent.
Good. Let's get right into it then. First record is by local punk band EASERS, and this record is just a self-titled 2020 release. Came out September 25 of 2020.
Mid-pandemic.
This record, to me, it feels like what people would expect us to review when we first announced the show. Like, this is like the most like predictable.
I think you might be right. And I was this record genre in specific. You said punk, and I think we can probably get off right off the top. It's a punk record. It's got a little bit of a metal edge.
Yeah, a little bit of metal edge. Definitely like heavy garage influence.
Definitely garage influence, hardcore influence. And so this is all kind of tying in with first impressions, as we usually do.
Yes.
And you're right. This is kind of the record that I think people would expect you and I to review on this show.
Absolutely. With that said, though, I think that we're not going to treat this any differently than any other record that we've reviewed so far.
I don't know if we can say that for certain. I think our biases might come through.
That's true. I tried to be as unbiased as possible, as I always do. But just full disclosure, I did hear this record before it came out through our mutual friend Cedric, who plays bass in the band. The singer guitarist cuts my hair.
Oh, nice.
So
okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so maybe I should be nice so he doesn't mess
give
up my
you bad
drip.
hairdo.
Yeah, I don't want him to mess up my drip.
Yeah, that is a risk. That's a risk with all. That's all a risk with all. We're just gonna get blacklisted just for being honest.
I know, right? Seriously, though, because like I'm gonna be fully vaccinated by the end of this month, and I need to look good when I'm out there.
You're gonna get your ass kicked immediately as soon as you step out the scene.
Yeah, man,
scene's gonna beat you up.
Yeah, I don't have any punk cred, but like I need to like at least leave myself open to receive punk cred.
That's what I exactly. Don't shut yourself off to you receiving the cred.
Right.
Let's talk about the album art on this record.
Yes. Okay. So album art for EASERS. Let me pull it up here.
It's how it's presented on Bandcamp is really cool, and I love this. Where it is if you're wondering and don't know, this is basically like the mock-up for the tape J card. The J card is the label that goes into the slot that you put the information on. And so it's a square basically, but it gets folded into like a third with two smaller sixths kind of folded into it. And you have this, or 2/3 and then the smaller part, and you get the J card.
That's right. And it's kind of like it says EASERS on the cover, but it's kind of in this like blueprinty way. I
think it's like how you make fonts.
Okay.
I think if you were making your own font, you kind of can make it on a grid like this. So these are like points of like this square has an X in it, so that's going to be all one solid color, and then half of it here. So I think it almost looks like it's like the mid design of a font, and it looks cool enough, and it looks cool enough to keep.
Sick.
Yeah. I love it. I love the concept. Some label put this out, right?
Yeah, the label is called.
We didn't talk about that either.
Painter's Tape out of Detroit, and they did a run of 50.
Very cool. That's a good solid run for a band. You go over that, you risk not selling them, and that feels bad
for sure.
I really like the album art on it. It fits in really well.
It was done by Adam Lux, who also does. He's a tattooer at Mos Eisley's, and he did their first tape album art as well.
Oh, far out.
And then the Old English on the spine of the tape.
Yeah, it looks good. It fits in.
Yeah,
it fits their style.
It's appealing to the eye.
Track one right away. This is like pretty good modern sounding punk. It
comes in hard.
It comes in hard, and so it really has. It's off the bat loud, fast energy. It's obvious. It's punk. These drums sound really good.
The drums sound really good.
That was one thing I noticed right away with this, the drumming. So good drumming on this overall. Yeah. I think that speaks for the whole record. But first impressions, I got that right in the first couple sentences here of me talking about it.
I was really shocked and pleased to hear how like analog-y it sounded.
Okay.
Like I felt like it was really warm sounding.
Okay.
And that could be just due to the nature of like this whole record has this kind of like blown out sound.
It does. It definitely does. And I have some more notes on production to that extent. But yeah, I think the blown outedness of it does sound. It has it's going for the analog song sound for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure how much that comes across to me immediately.
Yeah.
I do like how this sounds though.
I do. Yeah. I listened to this actually after our next. Both these albums are like, I don't want to say exhausting, but they're like, I definitely felt like some kind of like ear fatigue after listening to both of these records.
Yeah, that's something that I have on this one too, and that's a negative that I didn't really think about until later. But you're not going to know that until after a while, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure everyone's experienced this, but yeah, like when you listen to music a lot through headphones for an extended period of time, it just really it wears your ears out.
Did you listen on headphones to this release?
I did.
Okay, I listened to it in my car.
Oh, I bet this would be, I feel like, a good car listen.
I was sat and parked.
Were you sad?
Sat. I was
Okay.
sat. I don't know. I felt kind of British. You know, I was sat. I was sat. I was sat and I listened.
I feel like I'm either, when I'm like sitting in my car listening to music, I'm either like really sad or I'm like stoned.
It's a good place to do that.
Yeah.
To do all those things.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
I wish the vocals were a little bit louder on this first song. Just in this first song. And it actually, I think, gets better by song 2, but just this first song, I kind of wish that maybe they took the approach of like, let's have the vocal. If we want this quieter sound of the vocals, which a lot of bands do, and we've talked about this, we're going to talk about this every fucking episode probably, because we're never going to.
Because it's a theme.
It's a theme. Do the quiet vocal thing, but maybe on that first track have it be slightly louder, so it tricks your brain into thinking it's louder, so you can pick it out. I was kind of like trying to pick out the vocals too much at first, where I kind of like lost the energy of the first song.
For sure.
Even though it's like pretty good.
Yeah. There's 2 people that sing in the band. So the guitarist Andrew and Ben, the drummer, both sing, and they trade on and off. And I think
that's interesting.
I think that makes a difference too, because they both have similar, but they're also like different kind of voices. I think the drummer's voice is a little lower.
Okay. I didn't even get a distinction. That's very cool.
Yeah.
That might be what is the difference. It's hard, like, trying to balance 2 voices. I can tell you from having worked 2 months on this podcast, that balancing 2 different voices is a pain in the ass. So
absolutely,
imagine 2 different like fucking singers trying to try to.
Yeah, man. It's really hard to find that balance, and I think after this first song they do get there a little more.
Definitely. But this is pretty good. This, like, right away, I do like it. It has like that modern punk sound, you know.
Yeah.
It's not really trying to be like 80s punk. It's not trying to be pop punk. It's kind of like a lot of like punk bands that are like current right now sound like this, I think.
Definitely. This is kind of, I would say, my favorite style of punk right now.
How would you classify it? If you had to describe this to somebody, if someone's like, what kind of punk do you like without using bands, what would you say this
I would
is?
say like garage punk, probably, with tinges of like hardcore.
It does have tinges of hardcore. It even has some like kind of Motorhead.
Yeah.
You know, like a little bit of like, it's like
a bit of metal-y.
Like, it's metal in the way that Motorhead is kind of metal.
Yeah.
You know, and like,
for sure.
You would say that Motorhead was a metal band, but they're more of a punk band, and like, but they kind of like walk the line there, and I think this kind of does that in a cool way. And I said the vocals get better on song 2. So jumping into song 2,
it goes right into it, and this is a theme throughout the whole record. It's like seamless transitions.
I listened to this on Bandcamp on my phone, and it kept stopping every song, and I could tell. I was like, there's a seamless transition thing going on here that is not coming across, and that's not your fault. Like, that's my fault. So I'm gonna go back and listen to this. I have a note of that I wish I could listen to this.
Do you have the Bandcamp app on your phone?
I don't.
If you download the app, it doesn't do like the
man. I got so much precious little space on my phone. I have to delete like precious memories off here, like every day.
Yeah, just like goodbye.
But you're right. I probably should. This is like kind of becoming partially a job, so I might as well have the right tools for it.
Yeah.
This guitar tone, I said, could get to me after a while. But it is good and grating, and I think maybe that ear fatigue you were talking about might be what that is.
Yeah, for sure. It's blown out, and it's like it's harsh, man. Like, it's a harsh tone, but I do like it.
Like, punk's not supposed to like relax you per se, you know?
True.
But it does for me. Like, I find that punk can make me feel like light and make me feel free, and you know, and like can inspire my brain and also relax me. It's kind of like how like the blues can cheer you up,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Yeah.
Like punk kind of makes me feel relaxed, even though it's like the exact opposite of what it is. And I don't know if this is actually doing that for me.
I don't think that's this kind of punk. I think this is more like just party punk, like, or just a basement punk, you know, like Midwest basement punk.
Yeah, I just had that as a note that like punk's not supposed to relax you per se, but it's like how the blues cheers you up.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if this is fitting into it, doing it for me, doing what I look for in a lot of punk is not really doing it for me. But I do like it.
I will say, just as like a person who like didn't grow up like listening to punk, that like I feel like this is good, like every person punk. Like I think it's pretty accessible actually for all people.
Definitely. I think that anybody who likes punk would like this. Me as a younger person would have like a adolescent would have loved it. You know, would have been like, this band has hardcore.
Yeah.
You know, I want to get in a pit and fucking like annihilate people in here. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And it just makes me want to drink like High Life or something.
And like this is more my style, and you said that like this is what people would probably expect our show to be, more records like this, you know, and it's obvious that it's kind of my style, but I also like other genres, and so do you.
Yeah.
And I only listen to punk really a little bit now, even though it really shaped me.
Yeah, I feel like the punk that you listen to now more is like, I don't know. I feel like it's more just like, I feel like you listen more ska than punk.
I don't really listen to a lot of music that much anymore, but I do. I don't know. Yeah, I like ska. I like Jamaican music in general.
Yeah, and not like third wave ska, like ska, like Pie Tasters.
Well, I don't even know. They're a little bit too third wave for me.
Too third wave.
I don't know. I think that how it's hardcore and also metal and gritty and tough, but there's a lot of pop edge to this stuff too.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is very like 2-chord, 3-chord stuff.
Really short songs.
Yeah, no song is 2 minutes even.
I noted that these songs feel way longer than they actually are. You know, I love that. I love that. They
deceptive.
Yeah, because I drove from my house into East Grand Rapids. And it's not a very far drive, and I listened to a couple songs on the way there, and I noticed I'm like, well, these songs were really short, like really, really, really super short, and they're about as long as I think they need to be.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want any longer than what they are, just because they are so like repetitive. The verses are usually just like 2 chords back and forth.
I was putting my notes what song I was talking about, and I have here written Dreamer. Have we gotten to Dreamer in your notes yet? The song Dreamer?
No, but I actually have a note about Dreamer too.
Let's go. What else we have in your notes? Because that's as far as I've got, and then I have Dreamer and 2 notes right after this that I think are important. But this is I don't want to jump ahead of you.
I think going back to like the guitar tone thing, I said maybe a little variety in the guitar tone would have been nice. Just to really, you know, I feel like it would help showcase like the talent of the band. I feel like maybe like the consistent tone and the seamless transitions kind of might hinder kind of like how good these guys are like writing you know, like catchy songs in a way.
Like it might hinder the
versatility, I guess.
Yeah, like it might hinder the impact of the songwriting or something.
Yeah, and maybe they don't have that versatility, and that's fine too. But
yeah,
I think that's more of a personal preference. I think, and maybe because of the blown out thing.
Yeah. Maybe because of how you feel the guitar tone is maybe a little too blown out, and maybe I feel it's a little bit too gritty, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that would alleviate some of that fatigue you were talking about.
Yeah.
Breaking it up. But man, when you track, you know, they probably tracked this really fast and they did it really consistent. The drum takes in this are unreal.
Yeah, this guy is really fun to watch on drums. He's just like a machine.
I bet it's great. This drum, I have great drum performance on this, and since we're talking about drums, like, so I bet they just cranked these out like a motherfucker, and like they were like, whatever, that's the tone because that's how it sounds like. There might be some bleed through of the guitar tone onto the drums.
I like that.
So I do too, but you're left with this tone. You know, you don't have a lot of you have less options when that happens.
That's true, and I actually did notice with headphones too that they all the guitars are double tracked with 2 different kind of tones.
The legend.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
El Doble.
Oh, we're gonna bleep that.
Yeah, we have to bleep that. We can't give our trade secrets away. But if you know, you know. I think last note before we get to Dreamer is that I think this would just sound great on cassette.
Yeah, and it's on cassette.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to get my hands on it.
You're right. This is like a good type of music to have on cassette. It has everything that people who like cassettes as a medium and collect them would like.
Yeah, let's get to Dreamer. My note for Dreamer and White Gloves, the song that follows, is that I think this is where the record really takes off.
I think you're totally right. What track is Dreamer? This is like track
That's
5
6.
or 6? Yeah, so, but the songs are so short that we're only like 5 minutes into the record, right?
Yeah.
So it's not entirely a bad choice. Like I think we've criticized some bands for putting good songs too late in the record.
Right.
You know, and putting too much filler or stuff that we don't like. And this is a case where that kind of happened, but it's only a couple minutes in.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't lost like any time really. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm digging this. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay.
Dreamer is a great song.
Dreamer is really good.
It's really good.
Both Dreamer and White Gloves I really liked. And I was like, this is like, I hope this is kind of like the future of where they go. Because I don't think they can continue with the sound without it getting old after a while. I think they have to do some kind of evolving.
This is their second release, right?
Yeah.
I didn't check out the first one because I didn't want to color this too hard.
Same.
Because it wasn't really, they're not really a band that I was super familiar with. I think you're right. And even like from like being in a band perspective, can you imagine trying to differentiate these songs in your head?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, none of these songs I could even like hum and be like, oh, play that one that goes like the, you know, it's like they're all that.
Like it would be a real challenge to like fill in for this band. You know what I mean? Like as a fill in or whatever, because you'd be like, oh, you'd have to really like this band and really know this record because. And I think you could. This is another record that would reward you with more plays. But man, it'd be a challenge.
Yeah. And I think the thing about Dreamer and White Gloves and some of the songs later on is that it introduces like short like riffs or leads at times. They're very, very sparse, but that's where I think the kind of metal-ish aspect kind of comes in.
That's what I have written here. The metal in here is really cool. I think right, spot on. This music's very dense.
It is.
But it's short, but it's really, really short.
Yeah, it is really just like a blast, like, grr!
And it's so opposite of what we're about to review after this, where like that music, I can say now, is also very dense, but it's also very long.
Yeah.
You know, and it's such a different approach. And then I think it's perfect for this show, how different these two records are.
Exactly. But they do share that similarity in density in kind of different ways, but...
very different.
Yeah.
These songs are all the right length.
Yeah, exactly.
They could be longer. You could probably double these songs, and I might even say that. You know, I don't know. I'm tempted to like, I don't even know what you do. Is line them up, like add, just double the verse in Pro Tools and see what it sounds like. To even see if that's true.
Right. I don't know. I feel like the minute you say that and then you do it, you're like, I hate this.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I like it enough where I'm like, oh, these could be longer, but maybe I'll just stand by that. They're the right length.
Yeah, because I felt like it's better to go short and leave people wanting more.
Definitely. I write drums on here. Drums. Great drums.
Drums are sick.
The drums, I think, are the standout all-star on this record. Drummer, good job.
I think I was surprised at like how quiet the bass was actually.
Yeah, I had to turn my bass down a little bit because in cars it's always weird. It rattles you know. But I noticed it. I think the bass is just really doing some really rhythmic stuff. You know? It's not trying to stick out.
No, it's not. It does stick out in the last song though, and I don't know if you have any notes about the songs after Dreamer or White Glove, but
I do. I have here also after drums, nice mix and master on this. I think. I think this is mixed really well. The actual like recording of it, it sounds fine. The mix I think is really good, and the master I think sounds nice on here.
Some more full disclosure stuff. This was recorded by my friend Nate Donovan. He did the album art for Hollywood Makeout's Skinny Dip and Scorpion.
Oh, very cool.
But he built his own studio in his back garden, like this little like a shed thing that he has that's really decked out.
Right.
And he's kind of like new in the producer game, and I think this is
Okay.
So he he kind of like volunteered his services, and I think he did a really nice job.
I think it sounds good. Yeah, I think it was nothing about it like super stood out. I think what is commendable is the drum performance on here is so good that has a lot to do with who's recording the drums, and so like good job on that too, because when you can coax that kind of performance out of somebody, like regardless of the skill of that player, like it's really hard to capture it on a tape.
For
and
sure.
that does sound good, and the drums sound like I did not hate the snare.
Same.
So maybe
remember everyone that snares don't sound good.
No, they never sound good.
They
but
never
here's the
sound
thing
good.
is that we didn't think they sounded bad on here.
No, but
So-
I've never heard a good snare.
They should get like one Dan and Julio coin for
Yeah,
having us not hate the snare.
Yeah,
Every time we don't hate
acceptable snare.
Every time we don't hate your snare.
That snare meme that you made was really great. I appreciated that one.
With the woman and her child, and she's like working
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
I will, as a producer, I will attest to that. I've spent hours mixing a snare sound only to delete everything that I've done.
I'm just gonna sound replace all my snares from now on with the perfect snare,
Yeah,
the perfect like grindcore piccolo snare pop. It's all grindcore. Every drum sound we have. They do the best. They do the best.
they
best,
do
best
the
drum
best.
sounds.
It is really good,
They're so in your face.
much to my chagrin sometimes.
So I'm sitting in the parking lot listening to this record, and I do right here. I'm starting to lose a little interest in this, and I don't know when this happened. I think maybe a couple songs after these ones that I really liked. I said I'm also typing and I'm waiting in a car and I'm like talking to people on Discord, but it does sound like enough of the same that it kind of lost me a little.
Same. I think I was just really feeling that like fatigue from that blown out sound. It was just like really in your face, and like I think like maybe because I was just like on my couch, just like with headphones in, just like kind of chilling. You know, I wasn't like leaning into like the whole energy of it necessarily.
Sure.
You know, I think if I were like crank it on a stereo, crank it in my car somewhere, you know,
Or if you're
fast.
doing dishes, even like doing dishes and standing
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, but I'm just like sitting like a piece of shit on my couch, like with slouching.
Yeah, context is important in music enjoyment. And like sometimes you're just like not in the mood for a thing. But you know what? This did not feel like a chore to me. Sometimes
Same.
we've done records on this show that have felt like real like oof moments in music enjoyment that I regret having to be forced to be put through. You know?
Yeah.
and like
We've had
this
some big oofs.
and this didn't happen, so that is good. That's a testament to the record too.
Absolutely.
But it did kind of sound a little more the same, and I kind of lost me. But I would go to the show.
I can't wait to see these guys live again. I feel like I may have saw them in 2020 before shutdown. I can't remember, but I really enjoyed it.
Is this is like the other band that Cedric is in?
Yes.
Is this band? Okay, I've heard of this band. I never knew their name.
They used to be called Lines, I think, and now they're called EASERS.
Lions.
Lines, like draw a
Lions.
line.
Oh, that's good. That's a good name.
Yeah,
I'd go to one of their shows.
yeah.
There's a nice strong end of this tape too. Like I think the last
track is the jam. I was like, Prescription is sick.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk at length of what you got to say about this track. 'Cause I only have one more note after this.
I think I liked that it had some riffs. I could hear some little more of like Cedric's bass, like a riff. He's a little more noodly in this one, which I enjoy. I think this is kind of like, it was just a really wise choice, I think, for the last song, and I really liked it.
Very strong, very strong end.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a hard time when they like I can hear that Nate had some fun with the ending or whatever of Prescription. It does this little spacey thing.
Yeah. Did you like that?
No.
I have written out here, is Dan going to hate that effect at the end?
I hated it. I was like,
I knew it. I fucking knew you would, dude.
Because it's such a hard record and it does this like weird spacey thing. I'm like, just give me like a hard staccato
come on.
end. And
Okay.
I'm just like, it's funny.
No effects.
I don't know. It's just like so out of character, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's almost like an eye roll.
I knew you wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
If we ever make a bingo card, like fans camps bingo, one space has to be effect at the end of a song that Dan doesn't like.
Yes, absolutely.
That's got to be a square.
It's so like I love it in like in terms of like goofing off with your friends and like having fun recording. Like absolutely do that. I've done that on multiple records that I've done, but like as like if I'm trying to look at this like in a more deeper way, it just doesn't like contextually fit at all.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? And now it's a fun little trope of the show now.
Yeah, now it's a thing. Oh,
now it's a thing. So now I have to make a note about it every record.
Would you recommend this record to somebody?
Absolutely, I would.
I would too. This is good punk stuff.
Yeah.
If you're into punk music, if you're into hard music, heavy music, fast music, aggressive music, this is great. Did you look at lyrics at all on here?
There are no lyrics.
Okay. The lyrics probably will reward you upon listen, but they seem kind of aggressive.
Yeah, I think it's just like it's energy, it's fun, it's party, it's aggression. Rating wise, let me rate it here. I'm gonna rate it as a drink that Trevor Goldner showed me one time as it's a High Life mixed with I think grapefruit juice.
High Life and grapefruit.
Yeah.
I'm drinking grapefruit and Bell's Official over here.
Oh, nice.
With a little dash of vodka in there.
That sounds good.
I'm going to give it a rating of the fastest go-kart on the track.
Dang. Hell yeah.
Like, for some reason, you got the fast one, and it's obvious.
Right.
Did they get there?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, too. I think this is a really interesting...
It's just like a punk record.
Yeah.
They recorded it. It's out. It's on tape.
Yeah. This is a band that I think people should know about, and I think that they did get there. It's good.
Mm-hmm. It makes me miss live music.
It does. And I have written on here a couple times, like, you know, this would be good in a live show setting.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, is it blowing you away?
No.
Yeah, me neither. But I don't think that it's necessarily really trying to.
I don't think so either. I think they're just trying to like make punk rock and have fun.
Mm-hmm. I think that like with more, there could be like some more conceptual stuff to this band in the future that could be really interesting. So I think they're definitely like a band to keep your eyes out for too.
Yeah, and I think that's a concept that we've talked about a lot with just like albums that are derivative and albums that are should they blow you away? Should all new music blow you away?
Right.
And I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I think that would be exhausting, and I think people would just be making records that might just be like too big for their britches all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes you just want like you're thinking of a genre or a type of music or a sound, and you just need that band to like execute that like almost textbook like.
Mm-hmm. I like this more than I thought I would, and like I didn't have anything basis for that. I just decided I'm gonna have my bar really low for all the submissions into Bandcamp, and I think that this was way higher than the bar that I was at. And when it was over, I was kind of like, oh, like I would listen to this more, you know? And like I said, it wasn't a chore. You know, this was a record or a tape that I listened to, and I was really looking forward to what the next song would be like. And I wasn't like dreading it or checking the clock to see how many seconds are left or how many tracks are left in the album. Yeah.
I think also like for me, those seamless transitions too, just really kind of kept me like, it almost like tricked me because you're just like you don't even have a chance to like consider to like turn it off in a way.
Yeah, I was definitely more acutely aware of the definition between songs than you were, and I'm gonna have to go back. And that's kind of I regret that once I noticed that might be the case, I regret that I was like not listening to it that way.
It's all good. I got you.
Thank you. You forgive me?
Welcome. I forgive you.
Will they forgive me? It's Bandcamp's fault.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. Maybe if they were, maybe if there was maybe we should, that's just illegal. I'm just saying, I was about to say, like, maybe we should just create a streaming service called Bandscamps. It's like, we just absolutely cannot do that.
Make our own.
Maybe someday, though.
How much do you think Cedric had involved in the songwriting process of this band? Or is it mostly just the guitar player and the drummer? Or do you think they write as a group? What do you think? I
think it's primarily the guitarist and drummer. I think Cedric had a little more with this one, for sure, but I'm not entirely sure. So maybe we'll find out in the recap.
Yeah, I'm curious because I know that Cedric had a bigger part in the songwriting of Hollywood Makeout than I actually assumed. You know, and so I was just curious what other work, because he's been in so many bands that like, is this another thing that he has a heavy hand in I guess the composition of, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, he's in the band as a 3-piece. You have a really big part in a band.
Yeah, for sure. I think we'll take a short break.
Yeah, I think I'm good with this.
Yeah.
This record.
Sounds good.
Listeners, we got one more record on this episode to review. Hello, listeners. Julio here to remind you to check out our live streams every weekend on Facebook. We go live on Fridays or Saturdays, sometimes on Sundays, usually at like 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. And be sure to check us out every Tuesday. We drop new episodes everywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts.
All right, welcome back to episode 9 of Band Scamps. Thank you to Tom Hunt for making our intro song. Thank you to Cassie Houghton for doing our intro and outro. Thank you to Julio for editing these episodes.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
And thank you to all listeners. And with that said, we have another record for you, another Grand Rapids local record by band Earth Radio. And this record is called Reanimate. And it was released August 21st of 2020.
August
All 21st.
Right. So we're going to call that mid-pandemic.
Okay, so before we go with that, though, there are some liner notes about how it was written and recorded. This record was written over the latter half of 2019.
Okay.
And recorded at Third Coast, mixed in studio and remotely due to COVID-19 shutting down the studio. So it was mixed and mastered in the pandemic, but recorded and written prior to. It
was tracked and stuff before,
yes.
Probably like initial tracking.
Yep.
Did they do some overdubs kind of remotely, kind of?
I'm guessing, yeah.
So that's interesting. Kind of spans.
Yeah.
The whole thing. I mean, you could kind of compare that to like the Hollywood Makeout album in a little way. You can compare it to a lot of records that came out that were probably meant to be a bigger thing that was going to be promoted.
Exactly.
And yeah, so it's kind of like that spanning pre and mid pandemic era.
And that goes right into the first impressions too, because obviously this record was in the making for a long time, and you can tell because it's produced really well. Yeah,
the production is really, really good on this record, and that's a first impression thing, that it has a really good audio quality to it that is inviting and appealing.
Yeah,
right off the bat, and it does kind of stay that way. You know, all things considered.
Absolutely, it's clean, it's radio friendly, it's marketable.
The cover art on this record is super cool.
It's rad. It's like this kind of a combination of like a painting, a drawing, and like it's like digital.
Yeah, digitally altered.
Yeah.
I wonder if this model on the cover is the singer or if it's a different model. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the singer.
Yeah, I can't tell.
It might be.
It's rad though.
It is like a good representation of this record. I think that it was a good choice aesthetically for a lot of reasons to have this cover.
I would agree. This is kind of I would say, like, if I were like looking in the stacks at a record store and I saw this album art, I would definitely be like intrigued.
Definitely. So let's get into the music.
Okay. It's recorded really well. We have that established.
First impressions.
My first impression is I enjoyed this more than I anticipated, actually.
Just from the get-go or the whole thing?
Just from the get-go.
Okay.
I'm not too familiar with this band, but I kind of know their general kind of aesthetic and sound. And I was a little surprised by how radio-friendly it was, I guess.
Okay.
It appeals to like my pop sensibilities.
From the get-go, this is like, you can tell, I think that we're going to be in for some kind of a pastiche of like a lot of different elements of jazz fusion. Mm-hmm. And I think one that this band is really trying to touch on that becomes obvious, maybe not so much in track 1, but in track 2, is like soul music or R&B, and specifically neo soul.
Yes.
Which is a genre that, if you are not sure, I guess started like maybe like in the late 90s. Maybe it took elements of soul and kind of updated them with some hip hop aesthetic. And it was a very popular choice to have like this music that kind of sat alongside of some of the like the backpack hip hop of the late 90s and early 2000s.
Okay.
And I think that this group is doing that, like specifically trying to be kind of a jazz fusion neo soul group.
I am really glad that you talked about that, because I was actually going to ask you. I have a thing that says in the Bandcamp, it says that they describe themselves as neo soul, and I was like, I don't really know what that is, and so I'm really glad that you defined that for me.
So there's a few groups that I could put in neo soul. D'Angelo is neo soul. I would say Cody Chestnut is neo soul.
Ooh, I like Cody Chestnut.
And there's a third really big one, which this band obviously likes, and it's Erykah Badu.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
This band likes Erykah Badu a lot.
That makes so much sense now.
A ton.
Yeah.
A lot. Like,
Yeah.
we get it. You like Erykah Badu.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings me to track 2. Right away, I wrote Erykah Badu.
Okay.
You know? Listeners, I don't think I'm far off here. And even I think Earth Radio will agree that they're probably influenced by this singer. And they're great.
Yeah.
And her influence is all over this record as far as the singing goes.
For sure. Would you consider this a jam band?
Yeah, definitely. I think that definitely these songs are written for jam bands, and I think they also kind of lack the songwriting chops that a lot of jam bands lack.
I would agree with that.
I think that these songs aren't. I'm going to stop myself because I don't want to get too far. I want to go start there.
Okay.
Track 2. There's
Track
some really good playing on this. There's a lot of really nice, classy jazz fusion light playing.
I have a note that says has Steely Dan potential.
Definitely, and I have that later.
I don't think it gets there, but
it
has potential.
It never gets there.
Yeah.
It definitely is trying to use some of the tools that Steely Dan uses to get to where they go to try to get there. But I don't think this has the songwriting, like catchiness and sensibility that Steely Dan does.
I would agree.
It's really it's light, it's jazz, it's fusion.
Yeah,
it's rock. It's got a bit of the respect for black music. And R&B and different modes of that kind of music that Steely Dan also has.
Get Up to me kind of has this like Weather Channel kind of like school concert kind of vibe to me in a way, and that may be just like the soft rock kind of jazz feel of it, but
it's really light.
Yeah, it's like super light rock, right?
It's really it's really light, yeah, jazz fusion. And I have here, it's really light, but not really funky enough for me to like it all that much.
Right.
Like, it has this light jazzing airiness that's really good. These players are very good. The production's super good.
It's really good.
The production is outstanding on this record.
I was really blown away by it.
The production is outstanding, is like imbalancedly outstanding, I think, compared to the content. But it's so good. But it's a little light.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, that lightness to me was something that right within this first few minutes of the song, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I had that moment.
Yeah.
The first of many of those moments on this record.
I feel like that carries on into the next song too, which is the Chica.
Yeah.
Blah blah song.
What do you got about on here?
For Chica, it continues with that very marketable thing, and then I was actually reminded of like Norah Jones a lot. I feel like Norah Jones kind of like, she was really successful in that, like, blending jazz elements into pop music, and I think they're kind of trying that here, but it's just like, it's so. I have a note here that says impressive / good / necessary, and that goes to like the musicianship. Like, there's a point where like you're so good at your instruments that like you want to like flex that muscle, but is it like necessary for the song, or does that even mean that it's like good?
There's a lot of flexing on this record.
Yeah.
There's a lot, which I don't mind. I think what I don't like is the flex with like the elbow nudge to your buddy where you smirk at him.
Yes.
And
exactly.
if you're when you're way off.
Yeah.
And I do worry that this happens a lot.
That's what I'm kind of thinking too.
And there was a moment that happened really early in this song here, and I kind of wrote like sort of barf, you know, like, and that's a feeling I don't ever want to experience with music ever.
I have like gimmicky studio effects. Like, it's just like,
yeah,
I feel like that a lot. Like, there's a lot of like kind of gimmicky things. Like,
yeah. I mean, I wrote there's creative stuff here in this recording, you know?
Yeah.
If you, I mean, you could be perceived as gimmicky. I could totally see
Yeah,
that.
I think just by the nature of like the genre, maybe, because there's just so many, I guess like neo soul or jazz fusion like tropes that like they kind of hit. Like there's just like the kind of.
I think it's very. I think it's super tropey.
Yeah, yeah, and you're just like, all right, yep, they hit that mark. Now, what's the next thing? Okay, they got to do like this, like, okay, this bass line thing.
So those little things you're talking about, I think I actually like those things, but I do right. Like this is a little too light and sort of barf. This might be a challenge for me to enjoy. I like the little things in here. There's some creative stuff in the recording. There's some Steely Dan stuff in here that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make me feel the way that Steely Dan does.
Same, and I think that goes to Steely Dan writes hooks, and, and there's no hooks in the music at
all. One. There's not one. I couldn't sing you one melody from this song.
No.
Not one, and this is a major flaw in this music.
Yeah, that's like my biggest gripe.
It's a flaw that I think needs to like actually be resolved for me to like actually say this is good music eventually. Like they're all really good players as a band, like this doesn't make me feel like Steely Dan makes me feel. In fact, it makes me feel kind of uneasy.
Right. And like
did you feel that way?
Yeah. And I think for me, like if you're going to have like long songs and you're going to kind of like try to like maybe break some barriers in like music or like popular music at least, or listenable music, you have to, I don't know, like you have to allow the listener to like invite them to get into some kind of flow state, and there's just never that opportunity.
Never happens. You're just kind of bombarded with things. And listeners, I think you're in for a long review. We're only on track 3, and I have a lot to say about this. And I don't really know what my opinion of this record is, so I'm in for this ride as much as you are, and as Dan is, I think.
Exactly.
So if you're still listening, please listen on, because I'm not even sure where we're going with this, but I know we have a lot to talk about.
I kept on, and this goes along with the album art too, but I just kept on thinking about like late Incubus, like Morning View Incubus. This whole, like these first few songs, I was like, why does this sound like Incubus so much?
I mean, that might be an influence, Incufluence.
But side note, Incubus was like my favorite band for a couple of years in high school.
That's funny.
Yeah, I know, right? I also had a hemp necklace.
There's some really, really cool musical ideas in this band that are coming from, and I wrote this line in here, and I think I can reiterate this point later, but here's what I wrote, and you and I just kind of put our thoughts down. I think the best way to do it is like if it makes us think a thing, let's write it down and talk about it. Yeah. And I said there's some good musical ideas in here that I feel like are probably coming from only one person. I don't know why, and I don't know how to quantify this, and maybe someday in the future I can have an intimate discussion with people in this band and talk about this, but there's some stuff I really like, and I get the impression that it's one person generating the things I like. Yeah,
because the lyrics are included on the Bandcamp page, so I was following along with those. And along with the lyrics, there were some liner notes saying that like when certain songs were written by a certain member of the band.
I noticed that too. And so it's a lot more really all over the place.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised by that. I was like, okay, usually traditionally in a band, the vocalist will often be the lyricist because they have usually the most connection to the vocals, and they have a really good concept of it. And someone might write the song and come up with together. But this is all over the place. They really specify composition by this person, lyrics by this person, this by this person. And I love that. And that actually made me go like, like it was a thing that made me go, but in a good way, like an up, like, oh, it's a band.
Exactly. I really feel like we don't see that a lot anymore, at least. So I thought I did appreciate that.
You don't see a lot where there's more than one or two principal songwriters in a band. Exactly. And this was definitely, there was like 4, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And they definitely, you can tell this is coming from a music educated school, because no fucking band calls it composition.
No.
And like, that's kind of like, I don't know. I don't think it's arrogant to call it that, but it's like, it's not, no one calls it that.
Yeah. They're songs.
But it's useful. That's useful. But it's useful for this podcast. So like, fuck me for saying that too, but it's still arrogant.
I do wonder if they like write out sheet like music at all, or kind of say like, here's like the
I wouldn't be
the
surprised.
general layout to like for improvisation and stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised, and bands that do this might need that, and like some of it, it is a little. I think it's attempting to be heady, and I think that when you're heady like that, it might be helpful to have notation.
Yeah, I gotta say, I do love all like the synth and like Rhodes piano sounds. I think they're all really, really nice.
Yeah, the keyboard's really strong. A lot of the programming on here is really strong. The drumming, aside from the snare drum, which I think is so light that it pains me on this one.
Yeah,
this one gets a thumbs down on snare drum for me.
Sorry, guys.
I mean, what do you think? Did you have anything? No.
I thought it was just
Neutral?
like it was a snare. It was just like so.
Okay, well, Dan didn't hate it. That's a half coin.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know. I think it was just too loud, in a way.
Yeah,
too present.
This is like a kind of jazz and jazz fusion that I don't really like.
Same. It's again. That's more like the more kind of like adult contemporary almost.
I mean, I do like jazz fusion. I like Lee Ritenour. I like Steely Dan.
Yeah.
I like
Chick Corea.
I like the fucking crazy free jazz stuff that kind of verges more on fusion when it's funky. Some of the Philadelphia stuff kind of verges on that. And this, I just like, it was starting to grate on me a little bit. And like,
it doesn't feel edgy at all.
I like elements of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I would have turned this stuff off by now if I didn't have to listen to it.
Same.
And then the vocals are really starting to get to me at this point.
That's where like the flex really comes in a lot too, is like the vocal flex and just like I would say the harmonies are really nice, but outside of that, like there's no like, it's not, you can't like sing to it.
I have to like break it down into categories, like the quality of her voice as a vocal performer and talent and control and even like creativity in the licks is very, very good.
I would agree.
Very, very strong, very obviously strong. And there's some elements of here. I'm not even sure which song it was because I kind of stopped writing. I was writing so much that I couldn't keep up with the tracks on here. There's one point where she kind of goes off on a vocal thing. And it's like kind of Pink Floydy, and it kind of like merges with a synth and gets modulated.
Yes,
it's so
I know what you're
cool.
talking about. That was sick.
There's some obvious strength there. The way her voice is recorded, I really don't care for.
Interesting. I didn't mind that so much.
I just thought it was too airy and distant. It just sounded like it was like everything had like every word.
Interesting, because I actually felt that all the vocals were recorded like too close because I could actually hear a lot of mouth sounds.
Well, that maybe that's what it is. Is that I'm saying it sounded too airy, and maybe that's what I'm hearing is like her actual breath is too much. I really did not have an easy time adapting to how it's. I just couldn't get out of my head. And then like that. All that said, like the control is good. Some of the choices are interesting, but there's no catchiness in this stuff.
Right. There's
like,
no like melody in the vocal line.
They don't know how to write it. They don't know how to write a catchy song.
Right.
And I don't know if you can make up for that with this kind of complicated jazzy, light jazz stuff that's not funky enough to dance to or whatever. But it's I really, really like when she doesn't sing. And this was a hard thing to write, but it came true more and more and more as I started writing this. And I think it's for those reasons above. It was like, oh man, like it was like, every time that the vocals came in, I kind of was like,
I think I would really enjoy the voice more in a context of just like a pop song, and not necessarily like an upbeat pop song, but just like more, just not so like jazzy, or not jazzy, but not so like scatty, I guess almost.
Yeah. That that's gonna rub me a certain way no matter what. What started to get to me was like the affectation of an accent on this voice was starting to sound like a little too wannabe black.
Yeah,
and it started to sound a little bit too wannabe Erykah Badu. You should. I'm gonna send you an Erykah Badu album after we listen to this, and you're gonna be like, yeah, because it became too much, and it starts to become really inauthentic. Like, do you want me to think you're like a black girl? I don't think that's what she's going for. I'm like, but like, I don't, as a listener who's neutral, like, I started rolling my eyes on some things. And I was like, okay.
I definitely, yes.
And that might just be me being racist. Like, oh, what does a black girl sound like? Or what does a black singer sound like? But like, that's the thing is like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know? And like the listeners are going to know too, you know? And if I'm out of line, please let us know at bandscamps@gmail.com. But like affectation in singing starts to come off as really inauthentic. Yeah.
It's, that's where it gets dangerous with like, again, like derivative music and styles.
It's vocal blackface. You know, and I don't have a problem calling it that. Like, it's not my art to deal. It's not my burden, you know. But like, that's when I start being like, okay, like I kind of start side eyeing a little bit,
for sure.
And that's like an influence. This person, they are heavily influenced by Erykah Badu, and like it's going to be hard not to sound like them, but you need to sound like yourself,
for sure. We can move on to the next track. That was all spawned from Chica.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah. So the next one is called One Is All. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. By the end of that, well, let's go back. By the end of that track, I said I kind of want to skip the rest of the song, but I can't. Okay, never mind. I did. It kind of just went on. It went on and on and on. The lyrics here are starting to be like, oof, about a lot of things. And I get that. I think they're kind of supposed to be, but that misses the mark sometimes.
To me, that when I was reading the lyrics, I was getting more like those tropey kind of like hippie vibes or whatever.
It sounds like they're just kind of reading off Zen tea labels, you know.
Yeah,
they kind of like just like found inspirational quotes and put them all after another. And that was one thing that brought me to who wrote these lyrics? Who wrote these? Oh, that's all over the place too.
It's all over the place, yeah. So
also commendable. Also kind of like wants to make you pull out your monocle.
Right. The monocle was out.
Yeah, the monocle is out the whole record on this thing.
Yes, this is a monocle heavy record.
This is I have a mark on my eyelid from the monocle.
Yeah, listeners, if you can't see Julio right now, but it looks like someone punched him straight in the face, but it's just his monocle.
It's my monocle mark.
His monocle mark. All right, next track is One Is All.
One is all is one.
One is all is one. I have
all is one. It's called All Is One.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Did you have One Is All?
No, it's called One Is All.
It says All Is One on Spotify.
It says One Is All on Bandcamp.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a prank, huh? Is that an Easter egg?
I don't know. That's so funny. Did we get trolled?
It says All Is One on here, and you says
funny.
One Is All.
Yeah.
That might be an Easter egg.
That's so funny.
All right, I approve of that.
Earth Radio, if you're listening right now, let us know.
If it's an error, just pretend it's an Easter egg.
Yeah. This is your chance right now. That's really funny. Wow, okay. So
let's talk about All Is One. Or whatever song you listen to.
Man, this is where like the jam stuff gets a little much to me. I have to know this just says like save the long solo for the live show.
They really seem to like R&B, but they don't really fully embrace it.
Yeah.
You know, and they're really afraid to leave that hippiness behind.
They are. Like
that's what I noticed, you know, how you were saying they really want the jam, they want this, but like this guitar tone's kind of bad.
Man, I was thinking about like guitar and jazz just in general, and like there are plenty of like jazz guitarists that I love. I love George Benson. I can't remember the name of the guitarist who did Currents with Bill Evans, but he's very good. But I think sometimes like the guitar and jazz is just like it rides such a fine line, and most of the time I'm just like rolling my eyes hard.
It's a weird instrument. It's definitely a weird instrument. But the jam aspect of this is good. Like they're talented here on the jam stuff.
Yeah, but I mean this song is 5 minutes long, and it could have easily been like 250.
Yeah. Oh well, it can't be 250 because you would need a good song behind it to be that short.
Right.
And it doesn't exist. So the whole time it's just kind of like posturing and elbowing each other and being like, yep, good lick. It's all licks. Even the vocals are just licks, you know? And that's where you said that it was kind of tiring. This is why. And this is a jazz band, you know? And if we got to look at it in this way because that's what they're trying to do. And her vocals and her singing, whether or not we like the songwriting, it still is in the jazz tradition of like, it keeps going. It's very progressive. There's some key changes. There's a lot of ideas in here that are of the jazz, you know, culture of an aesthetic.
I'm just like, I'm wondering who is this record for?
It's for hippies and jam band scene.
Yeah.
Like, and people who like are into like jazzy stuff. It's specifically for festival stuff.
I just don't find this like relaxing at all.
No, I don't either. I've heard a lot of good things about this band, and
Me too.
it really is not doing it for me from a songwriting perspective.
I think like on like maybe a musicianship level, like
It's unreal.
Interesting. It's
Good.
Yeah.
I think they do try to slap some add nines on the end of a phrase and call it a day way too often.
Yeah.
And like that is like it's too much. And there's a little bit too much like chromatic walk downs where it's like, all right, guys, like you can stop doing that. But I don't think that it's like bad. What the songwriting's just not there.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. Like
There's no song. I couldn't sing you a song, and the lyrics are sort of dumb. So it makes me like these things combined, and then a little bit of her affectation makes me not want to hear her sing at all.
It makes it hard for me to like take it seriously.
Her voice is fine, but it's my least favorite part of this band.
Yeah, it's
I even wrote on here like more singing frowny face, and I should not be made to feel that way. You know?
Yeah.
and it's such a major part of this band, and probably a huge reason of their appeal. Honestly, like she's got a good voice. Like it's probably a good thing to have. Fronting a hippie band is that kind of voice and control is really good, but like it's just not doing it for me.
No, and I feel like it's almost like sometimes taking away from their potential of like doing something really interesting, like going like a more like even like tortoise route or something.
Oh, that there is some tortoisey sounding stuff
There is
towards the end
but
here.
like I feel like the singing takes away from that.
It really
like,
does.
Yeah.
That kind of brings us to Evolve. When I said this singing is really hard for me to enjoy, I can't put my finger on it. Is it the lack of a melody? She sings well,
and it's like produced weird too.
Yeah, she sings well, but it's annoying, and I don't know why, but it is. This would be much stronger as instrumental music.
Yeah, it's just like a very like I don't know, forgettable song.
And there's some really good production on here, and the production is so talented. The producer or the main person, whatever. If there is a main force behind this band in the production arena, it's so good.
Like even just like the panning of the drums and stuff was just like really, but.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to like just wrap up my own thoughts on the vocals of this record because I don't want to harp on it so much.
Yeah. After Evolve too, like I remember like genuinely this is so bad, but like I remember like looking at the track list and being like, I have so many more songs to listen to.
Me too. And I don't want to feel this way.
No.
Like I don't want to like I don't want to listen to your like chore of an album, and people like this stuff. So like, maybe I'm the one who's not like mature enough to handle it. I'm willing to accept that.
Yeah,
but I still feel this way about. This record.
I'm willing to admit for sure that it's like not my cup of tea for like at least home listening. I think I could at least, like I would be okay maybe being present in the room if it was like, and like, I'm not there for them, but I'm listening. There would be moments where I'd be like, oh, like that's a cool little thing, and then like
I'd watch it. I think this band would make me more angry than happy watching them live, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's just me. On this next song, there's a different vocalist.
Different vocalist, yes.
And it was cool.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's called Wrong Tree. My first note is I don't know. Do I like this? Kind of.
Is this a Christian band?
Yeah, I have that. Yes. Yes, I have. Yes. I had that. No. Yes.
Is this a Christian band?
For the last song, I have the question: is this a Christian band?
Oh man, I don't know. The lyric, it's something about it made me think it was, and I haven't laughed that long about something in a while. This is good.
That was funny. So far, it's like the most musically interesting, I think. Very much.
I find some of this music incredibly inauthentic. And maybe that's why it's making me feel uneasy and uncomfortable listening to it. Like I feel like some of the affectation on the voice, some of the being too self-aware and self-satisfied of itself. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I turned the record off and came back to it.
I took this specific song took a wild turn for me because I was like, all right, this is a fresh take. Here we go. It's interesting. Then my next note is fuck this guitar solo.
That's funny. I like it too. I really go back and forth. I go like, ooh, I like this. And I go, oh, she's trying to sound black. It's annoying. Yeah. Oh, I find this good. Oh, I'll turn this off. Yeah.
I was like,
maybe I don't like this.
It was too much.
So I came back to it. And then we got some more music. And it just keeps coming.
Yeah. That's the thing is like, there's just so much music.
It's so much.
I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, it was like almost
It's
too
true,
much
though.
music.
It was kind of a job.
Yeah.
And the drum and bass part comes up here in this record was really cool. There's some cool electronic-y production. The programming's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I like it so much better as instrumental music.
Same, and I wish that they were more like interested or curious even to like jump into different styles more, or like be more derivative different styles, because like the bass and drums are like they're so wrapped up in like that kind of like that R&B but like jazzy thing.
Like they do that's the live components are those, but then they have this other synth stuff that's really lush sounding and cool,
and I love that. I was like,
there's some really cool beat flips, there's some really funky stuff. It even kind of has some like spazzy energy in here. Like that one song sounds like Deerhoof all of a sudden.
Yeah, totally.
And like there is like a really cool spazzy energy here that could be better utilized, I think. And they're trying such like an easygoing, everything's positive vibe thing about it that is just kind of coming off as inauthentic, and it's like this lack of discernible vocal melody, you know, is just all kind of like it's like this like weird spazzy energy that's like contained.
Yeah,
it could just come out.
You know, like I don't know, just do a 4 on the floor like for a couple measures just for fun. You know, it's just so.
She can sing well. These aren't well written songs.
Yeah. And then, okay, so after this is like the analytical loops.
Okay, yeah, that was fine.
I was just, why?
I skipped it. Yeah, it's fun. I think it's supposed to be trippy.
But like,
you know, that's what I think. I think it's supposed to be trippy and goofy.
It makes
and
me
fun.
think like they're trying to go for a concept now.
Yeah, I think it's like.
Is this a concept album?
I think it's a reference to like drug loops, you know, in your brain when you have like mental thought loops. And I think it's supposed to be like trippy and whatever, but I don't think I would put this on while tripping.
No.
Like, and that's what it's for. Like, this is for an audience that's like supposed to be like on mushrooms dancing in a field somewhere. And I think that this would kind of make me like go back to my tent. There's still 4 songs in this record.
Yeah.
You know?
So here's the thing, like that a conclusion I came to about maybe this genre or maybe this band is like, this feels like a band when they're writing songs, like every song or every idea is included and nothing is cut. You know, like I feel like everyone said, you know, I feel like they have like, there's a lot of like really great moments, but there's a lot of moments I'm like, yeah, it's like fun. It's like, it
like never comes back to itself. It just keeps going, you know, and it never, there's like not really callback. There's not really like a return to where we went. We're just kind of on a journey, and I don't know what this journey is.
Yeah.
You know, like the lyrics are kind of just like entry level new age crud lyrics that might be Christian. Like it just sounds like I have Zen tea labels. Like you got a box of Zen tea and just wrote the labels. And the end of this record, there's some really cool moments that I wish would have rubbed off on the other songs. You know, there's some really cool parts that were like, this could have standed to be more like that one.
I don't know. The analytical loops thing really just kind of like, I love that idea, but like it really kind of threw me off in just like the theme of the record.
It wasn't good to listen to. And that's hard for me because like even when you make like a interlude, like I still want to hear that whole interlude and go into the next song, you know. Yeah. I skipped that song. That was the second song I skipped. Yeah. I was like, I can't finish the song.
And then, like between the two analytical loops 1.0 and 1.5, in between those two, there's a song called Dance Like Me. And this one was an eye roller for me. Yeah.
I kind of felt that way too. I was like, I just kind of stopped paying attention, I think, a little bit to what they were doing and kind of was just getting through it.
Yeah. I was just like, man, there's so many lyrics too. Like, when I was reading these lyrics, it's long. I don't know.
What track is that? Is it the second to last one?
No, Dance Like Me is
we're
8.
Way up here. Jesus.
And then Analytical, so yeah, there's still 4. I think I combined Beyond the Pale as like one song.
This Beyond one I liked. No, The Pale.
I thought Beyond is like the best song for me. It's the most accessible, at least. It has like that kind of like repeating guitar lick. That's cool. It's kind of spacey.
It's honestly getting hard to remember. We were bombarded with so much music on here, and I didn't like the end of this enough to really differentiate it any more from the beginning of it. But it did Like the instrumental stuff on here is appealing to me. I really enjoyed that stuff.
Same. Yeah. Okay. So this Beyond and then the Pale is kind of like where that train of thought goes to, of like no editing or revision or anything. Like every idea is just like thrown in there.
Yeah.
And you're just like, man, like it sounds cool, but like I don't know, like is it really enhancing the record that much more? Is it? I don't know. Like could you just like combine elements of both and just make it one song?
Mm-hmm. They just seem so confident and satisfied in what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that they don't really edit any of these ideas too much because they don't think any of their ideas they're making could possibly be bad.
Yeah, that.
You know what I mean? They're so confident in the kind of music they're making that none of this shit gets censored out, and like probably like everyone's given free reign to do whatever. You know,
right?
For better or worse, you know. I don't know if it's a winning combo here. They're pretty popular, I think.
Yeah.
They just like they don't have any songwriting chops, you know, and that's why you join a jam band. That's why you make a jam band, is because you can't write songs. You can't write songs. No one wants to play your songs because they're bad. So you guys all just play riffs, and that's fine. But it's not like necessarily good music.
I will say, as a musician, I like hate jamming.
Really?
Yeah, like it's so like, I don't know. Maybe I just haven't jammed with like people who are good at it, but like like every time that I've been invited to like jam with people, it's just like no one knows where to start. Everyone just kind of does their own thing, and like it's just like it's a hot mess, and it's going
to be different depending on who you play with, you know.
Yeah.
But I do like jamming, but you're right, it is a whole thing. But I think that this band is like really confident that what they're doing is good.
Yeah,
like I'm not saying that they are right, but I think that they are confident in what they're doing is good, and so it kind of reflects in their like decisions that are like a little bit eye rolling to us because they think they're good, you know.
Right.
And they're not for us.
Yeah. Definitely.
I was trying to figure out the songwriting. Like, what about it is that I don't like? All these songs are ballads. They're all like the show tune, like moonlit ballad, where someone's on their balcony singing a song that has no chorus and it just keeps going and it's slow and pretty. And that's what all these songs are, but they're at different speeds. You know, they're all just ballads at different speeds. Like there's no choruses, there's no hooks, there's no reprise, there's no call and response. It's just kind of like, it just keeps going and going and going and going and going.
Yeah,
You're right. It did exhaust me.
Yeah, it was exhausting. It's just like one idea glued to another idea, and it's like collage like, but not in like an aesthetically pleasing way. You know, I don't know. Like, I feel like when you have like a good song, in my opinion, you can kind of break it down to its like core elements, and you're like, oh, that's why it's good, because it's like, you know, it has like these 4 chords it's built around, or it's built around like this one melody, and I can't do that with these songs ever. I can't like find its core elements ever.
There's a lot of potential here.
Yeah, I think they just need to maybe try their hand at like maybe instrumental music.
Yeah, I honestly think so too. Or like branch out from styles that you don't think you especially excel in, because I think that you all think that you excel in this style, but it's like it's not hitting the mark. It's kind of boring, and it's kind of just like sped up ballads. And there's so much potential here, but I don't know if I'd ever listen to this record again. Yeah,
like if you're gonna try to break boundaries, like go for like lean into that more. Like
yeah. And there's a lot of creativity here too that's on display, and there's a lot of really things that I really like, but it's just like kind of like mixed feelings for me. Yeah, and I'm kind of just more on the side of meh. And the lyrics are just garbage.
Yeah, it's just
it's just entry level new age stuff. Like maybe they're trying to reach to a level of people that have never heard this kind of language before, and that's commendable. But that's more like I don't think that's what's happening here.
It's just like brewery music.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Would you ever listen to this record again?
No.
Would you be interested in seeing it live?
You know what? Yes, I would.
Same.
Yeah.
I think it would probably just bother me, but I'd be interested in seeing it live too.
I'm more so because I really, really, really liked like all the piano and like synth playing a lot.
I do suspect there's 1 or 2 people that are the main driving force of this band, and they have some very interesting ideas, I think.
Yeah.
There's some really talented arrangements on the strings of that last song too. I thought that was really nice.
For sure. And they had some really good guests for that. They had Jordan Hamilton, who's an incredible cello player.
That's
Jeffrey
great.
Niemeyer on violin, and then Scott Pellegrim on percussion and drum.
Really good.
No, that was a different song. Sorry.
Everyone on the record, the playing is very, very, very good, and
Really
I don't want
good.
to. I don't want to be taken the wrong way on that. Like the playing here is good. I think some of the composition that I have a little bit of eyebrow raised about.
Yeah, the musicianship, everyone in this band is like crazy talented. There's
At
no
the
doubt
end,
about
yeah,
that.
totally. At the end, I wrote here, "Is this a Christian band?"
Yeah, that's the last. That's literally the
Really?
last note I
I
have.
wrote
Is
it.
this
I
a
wrote it
Christian
twice.
band? Yeah.
And then I have, "I'm glad it's finally over,"
Yes.
and that's a feeling I don't ever want to feel
No.
in music. So just don't submit your album if you think I'm gonna feel that way. I'll talk about it, but like I don't want to be like tortured by your crap. Not that I think this band did this, but like that's an actual feeling I had. I'm like, I'm gonna say this because like I don't know. I want this to be fun, you guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our big questions. Did they
Big
get
question. Did they get there? I gotta think about this one for a second. Actually,
there? This is like a kind of loaded question with this band because
this really is
because I think what we think there is going to be different than
Yeah.
what they think there is. And I think that in their opinion, they think they got there.
yes.
And I think that that's enough to say yes. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Almost.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Only because of how confident this band is in their own work
Mm-hmm.
that I think that it's like appropriate to say that like they got there only because they think they got there so hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I think like what they're going for, they're trying to show that they are, musicians. They're trying to like show that they have talent. They're trying to create like a vibe. Yes, I think they all got there in that respect.
It's kind of a loaded question.
It really is.
And I think my opinion of this album could change over time were I to give it more time. And I don't think I'm likely to re-listen to this.
Here's the thing. I think with this band, I don't think I'm gonna listen to this record again. But I definitely want. I actually do want to keep my eye out on this band because I was so impressed by the musicianship.
Definitely. I think that without a doubt, they're probably a band that people know, oh, they're really great players,
Yeah.
And that is like commendable, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Like I can absolutely nerd out about that kind of stuff.
I like how many people had a hand in the composition or songwriting of this is really cool. That was something that I was like, oh man, I think it's one person writing the lyrics, one person writing the melody, blah blah, and it was not, and that's very interesting. It doesn't make me like it anymore, but it makes it more interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was a doozy of a record to talk about. I think
was
this
a
is one of
doozy.
our longest reviews.
Yeah.
And like overall, it's just I've got very mixed feelings. And
Yeah.
I'm more on the side of meh than I am like yeah.
Yeah. It's really I have a hard time with this because like there's so many aspects of music you can really kind of critique or review, and it's to this point like for me when I think about music, like I want overall it's all about the listenability. I think,
Exactly.
in so many ways, and like because that's what it's an audio art,
Right.
So like if it's not like listenable, then like did you succeed? I don't think so. Like
Right.
in that way.
There's a lot to this record. And I think that this is going to be an unpopular review. I think
Yeah.
this is going to be along the lines of some reviews we have where everyone disagrees and then privately will tell us like, "Oh, I actually agree with you."
Right.
So that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
Listeners, let us know what you think. Bandscamps@gmail.com. We do new episodes every Tuesday. We do live streams on Fridays or Saturdays. We're going to pick down a day. And we're going to talk more about it. We're not done with this record.
Exactly. And here's the thing: is like if you have thoughts about like this record that we didn't touch on, or thoughts about what we said, like we absolutely want to hear that. But the beauty of this podcast, that and Julio said this many times, is that it's all on tape, and we can back up what we said,
Totally. Yeah, it's all there. And if you disagree, I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah. Rating. Let's rate this record real quick.
Snow cones.
Snow cones.
I'm going off the bat, snow cones.
I'm gonna say
Two of them. 2 snow cones.
I'm gonna say I have to pee.
You have to pee?
Yeah, that's my rating.
Okay. That's very neutral.
Yeah.
Listeners, I want to thank you on behalf of me
Yes.
and Dan
Thank you.
for listening to us, for sticking through almost 2 months of podcasting.
Almost 2 months of podcasting, almost to the double digits.
We got a new game channel coming soon. Stay tuned for that. We got a record coming out by Jay Cesar Gomez, It is called Villeta/Mi Rancho. And it's 2 songs of Paraguayan folk music. 3 generations of Gomez came together for this record, so it's going to be a fun one. And we're launching this label. Yeah, we're launching kind of just a digital-only release label for now. So, yeah, I guess we'll take submissions for that, too. If you want us to put out a record, we'll definitely consider it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about collaboration, and that's like, that's like the fun aspect of all of this is like working with your friends, working with people that you that can like spawn ideas that maybe you wouldn't spawn on your own.
That's what this is all about. And if you want to get involved, please send us an email as well. We are looking for anyone from producers to a merch lord to advertising gurus, everything. If you want to be involved and help build a brand, basically from the bottom up, we aren't going to stop making content. We just need to expand.
Exactly. So thank you, Earth Radio. Thank you, EASERS, for entrusting us with your records.
I had a great time talking about them.
Yeah. I've never had like a bad time talking about a record. I don't think.
No. I might have a bad time listening to the record.
Yeah. But the conversation.
I might have a bad time worrying about what the band's going to think I said about the record, but I don't have a bad time talking about it with you, Dan.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being an awesome
thanks,
co-host.
Julio.
You're killing it.
You're killing it.
Thank you. Listeners, we will talk to you next time. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
This has been a Grand Rhapsody production. Executive produced by Dan Fisher and Julio Gomez.